Permiso, buenas tardes. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're fine. My name is Andres Rodriguez. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everywhere in the world you are. Thanks for coming. Here we have to visit our special guest in this webinar. Thanks for coming, Dr. Anastasia. And this is invitation that we made you for EFL Ecuadorian community, but we have teachers for everywhere now. So they are interested in learning, they're interested in updating different knowledge, experience. So I think it's a great idea that you start with us, a new topic, and share the things you know. So teachers, thanks for coming too, and we take advantage of this webinar so you can ask your questions, make comments, during the presentation. So let me start first. Dr. Anastasia, I will allow you to share the screen, so you can present your slides. Okay.
All right. You all see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it. I think everybody can see, yeah?
See it now?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, we can see.
Yeah, we can see.
Perfect. All right. All right. Well, I will go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for having me today. It's a pleasure to speak in Ecuador virtually. I haven't been to Ecuador yet, but I hope that when we are traveling a lot more often, I can make my way over to your country. All right. So today my talk is the importance of innovative leadership in the field, in the classroom, and the community. Now, in this presentation, we're going to be unpacking leadership, what it means, what different ways we can get involved. And because I believe so wholeheartedly in collaboration, in innovation, I have some help with a couple of videos from my friends in the TESOL field who will also give some examples of how they have been able to be leaders in so many different areas around the world, and so many different areas of our beautiful, beloved field of ESL and EFL. So let me go ahead. So first of all, I know we talked a little bit about this already, but where in the world are we from? Where are we calling in from today? Can anybody, if you want to put it in the chat, where in the world are we right now? Chat. Malaysia, welcome. Peru, Germany, Ecuador, Algeria. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming from all over the world. I love that. I know that COVID has cost us a lot, but we've also been able to gather virtually, and this is no exception, to be able to gather from all parts of the world to have this discussion on innovation and leadership. All right, wonderful. Okay, so I always start my presentations in the United States with a land acknowledgement statement that it's very important to me in my work and the foundations from which I draw my inspirations from. So I wish to acknowledge that I am joining you from Florida in the United States on the traditional homelands of the Tocobaga, Calusa, and Seminole peoples. Today, Florida is home to the Seminole, Miccosukee, Masuji, and Choctaw groups, and individuals of other Native groups likewise reside here. Given my focus of social justice in my own work, I recognize the historical and present impacts of colonization, violence, and displacement on Indigenous communities. I support Indigenous sovereignty and commit myself to continued learning and accountability in support of Indigenous communities from all over the world. All right, so let's just take about 30 seconds as we clear our heads. Some of you are coming to us from the evening. Some of us are waking up in the morning. Some are in the afternoon. But I always like to take about 30 seconds or so just to kind of situate ourselves. And then we're going to get into a Mentimeter and a Jamboard later. As I said, this is going to be interactive and hopefully a lot of fun. So let's start. 30 seconds. Can you all hear the recording?
No.
No.
Stop. No.
You can't hear the recording or the video?
No,
No,
Anastasia, we can't.
Oh, okay, let me see. Okay.
No, we can't.
Okay, let me, okay, there has to be a way in the sharing privileges. Let me just check really quickly. Stop sharing. There has to be in the screen share. Oh, there we go. I found it. Okay, I'm gonna try it again. Oops, not the whiteboard. I'm gonna try it one more time. Here we go. Can you hear now?
No. Just this moment a little, just music. Yeah, this moment, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, here we go. All right. I always like to start with a 30-second just kind of rush into everything. Okay, good. Everybody can hear. All right. In Japan, they call it forest bathing, and there's just something so peaceful and calm about it. Okay, what I want to do now is I want you all to go to menti.com. And once you go to menti.com, either from your phones, your computers, from any mobile device, you type in the code 8364-8473. Again, that's 8364-8473. And I can even put that in the chat as well. .com code 8364-8473. All right. And while we are here, I want you to tell me, what do you think innovative leadership is? Menti allows us to write words or phrases. So just give me an idea. What is innovative leadership to you? And I'll take a few minutes to give you a chance. Again, menti.com from any mobile device you have, or if you feel more comfortable, you can put it in our chat if you can't reach menti.com, but it should be accessible. And again, the code is 8364-8473. All right, so Maria says in the chat to work in group and sympathize with all. And then we have here creative. Okay, great. I'll give just a couple more minutes. What is innovative leadership? I'm checking the chat, and if you all can, there we go. Let's see. Change. Thinking outside the box. And I'm going to put, whoever has answers in the chat, I'll go ahead and I'll input that into the Menti cloud so that we have it. Creativity, change, critical thinking, absolutely. Leader, teacher, problem solving. Oh, these are wonderful. I will add Maria's contribution as well. Interesting. Okay, good. New solutions. All right, take a few more minutes. We have 6 people who participated. All right, I will leave it open. You can continue to participate. And let's go back for here. Okay. So innovation. Innovation, I was thinking about this before because we're always taught or always told, especially these days, especially with the pandemic we've had to retool, we've had to find ways to try to make things work. So it comes from the Latin verb innovare, and it means to renew. So innovation means to renew. It also means to be brought up to date by applying new processes, introducing new techniques, or establishing successful ideas to create new value. Now, this definition comes from more of a business perspective, but it can certainly be applied to our field in education. So I did a Google search to say, okay, what is innovation? I'm a visual learner. I like to see images, like to kind of see how things connect. And so when I looked at innovation, this is what I found. A lot of the more of the business realms have the big light bulbs, and they have business, idea, plan, concept. So what comes to mind as you see an image like this? And I'll get to other images as well. But if anybody wants to put their ideas in the chat, or you can unmute yourselves. What comes to your mind as you look at an image like this for innovating? Oh, I see a chat. Aha moment. Business plan, okay? All right, good. So then I looked, I see more people in the chat. New ideas, organization. Okay, good. Yes. I see a lot of different maps, linear, maybe some more non-linear approaches. There are different ways to get to this idea, this big idea. Interestingly enough, when I went and I Google searched as an innovation in education, this is what I got. And so as you can see, innovation, social think tank, and I realized this came from 2012 from Cambridge, Massachusetts. Again, you see a lot of the different types of paths, data-driven direction, innovation, equity, which we'll be talking about later. Learning is a lifelong journey, risk takers, personalized learning. What comes to your mind when you see this image? Roadmap, new ideas. Motivation, good. The way of communicating something to someone, good. All right, what comes to your mind as you see this image? Poll findings, I see. Whoops, almost gave it away. Anybody have any thoughts with regards to this image? As compared to this image that we saw before. We got this image. What comes to your mind? Practical. All right, I like that. Introducing music in class. All right, yes, I like that too. We have to, innovate the social aspects of things. Very good. All right. Now, we've had COVID. We're still, while we're traveling, conferences are more hybrid or face-to-face. We're starting to try to open up more. This is what we found from the Harvard Business Leadership Conference recently. So the first image was, of course, from 2012. You see there's like all these different ideas and thoughts and responsibilities and equity and data-driven. And then you see this other image that has resulted from the COVID-19 pandemic. What a contrast. What do we see when we see, or what do we think of when we're looking at this type of image? Exercises. Okay, that was, I guess, in the previous image. What comes to your mind? Any words, any thoughts, any feelings, emotions? For me, when I was researching for this talk before, my thought was, whoa, this is very, very stark difference. Evaluation. Oh, that's good. Yeah, evaluation. Questions. I see questions. The biggest thing I saw was disruption, right? We've been very disrupted in the process. Where, I love this, where are we educating? Inequalities in education. Design thinking, which is more of, which has become more of a thing. Our responsibilities, yes. Yes, we are harnessed with these responsibilities. We still need to talk about innovation, but look at all these different things that we have to confront as educators. Researching, yes. Ways to get into school. So many different types of things here, yes. Any other thoughts as we're going through these images? All right, so as we are thinking, limitations, yes, okay, that's also good too. What have you had to change as educators from the past couple of years? Maybe even the past couple of months, because it is a recursive, continuous, non-linear process of trying to emerge from what's happened with COVID. Maybe you had to change. You had to change drastically. Yeah, going digital, absolutely. That has been something, work in new strategies. Yes, absolutely. We'll be talking about that a little bit more. Very good. Good. Yes. Lecture contents, yes. Right, so sometimes if thinking new methodologies, oh my goodness, yes, we're always thinking new. Despite all these different types of responsibilities that we have as educators. Expectations, yes, understanding of students and people that you work with, absolutely, and realizing how expectations have either become more blurred, more clarified, or even more than what they were before, on multiple sides, just depending on where you are. Okay, anybody else? Any other thoughts on this? Thank you so much for your participation. Yes, accessibility, that's huge. Keeping students motivated, absolutely. And sometimes it's hard to keep students motivated when you're not sure where your resources are, what your resources are. We've had multiple budget cuts in my department where, you know, we could get opportunities. We could have a lot of opportunities for professional development. Oops, I think I'm echoing. Not sure why. Oh, it's fine. Flipped class, good. All right, very good. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about the 4 C's in the 21st century. Now we saw the image before, which looked at a lot of disruption and in education, but yet we still have these 21st century skills of collaboration, creativity, critical thinking, and communication. And while this image is not as colorful as the others, Mendoza Randall's devised this graphic based on the 4 C's in the 21st century skills. And so we look at things like collaboration and why that's important. So I love leadership and initiative, flexibility, creativity, create production and innovation. Again, that word innovation, critical thinking, which a couple of you mentioned before in the Mentimeter, information, discovery, constructing arguments, and then communication. These are the 4 C's which have been deemed some of the most important skills for people to know. And I was looking at a review to see how far we've come in the 21st century, especially, due to the pandemic. And there's been a consensus that the 4 C's are really important, but also this idea of global citizenship has been highlighted even more so than before, given our digital reach and the ways in which we have had to adapt and move conferences and move gatherings virtually, move schools virtually, move different things virtually. And what's happened is because of that, we've been able to gather and connect in ways we have not been able to do before. Whereas before we had a lot of gatherings that said, oh, well, you have to be face to face. We have to be flying everywhere to be able to gather. And we know now that's not true. Just look at this gathering that we have today. So Rita Mae Brown, a feminist educator and writer, says, I think the reward for conformity is that everybody likes you but yourself. So for me, that seems to be a key reason to try to innovate and to make sure that we can create, make sure that we can renew. And so the best way that I know how to discuss this is by really quickly going over the concepts of a DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and then later JEDI, which has been updated by Sears 2021, where she discusses the aspects of justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. Now, I have an entire talk about this, so I will not be detailing this as much. But when we're talking about this importance of innovation, of renewal, a lot of you had, let me see if I can go back to the chat, making things accessible, keeping students motivated, flipped learning, understanding expectations, new methodologies. We've had to also understand this idea, and not a new idea, but definitely kind of a resounding, reemerging idea of diversity, equity, and inclusion in our educational practices and in the process of our innovation. Because innovation is not going to be renewed, it's not going to be restored or recreated unless we're able to take these important tenets into account. And so the first thing we have here, see in the chat. Okay, good. And the first thing we have here is diversity. So diversity is complex, it is layered. You can have characteristics which are usually which are visible, and you have characteristics which are not visible. So you have the primary, gender identity, ethnicity, sexual orientation, which, as we know, is not so visible. It's not so clear cut, depending on where you fall with your belief on the gender continuum or gender spectrum. Secondary, which goes with religion, education, organizational, industry, level, location, your work experience, your own network, and then of course the cultural, which is, your cultural, your values, what power and authority views there are, the body language, being or doing, gestures, personal space. These all encompass diversity. And of course, we know that diversity is a beautiful thing, but it's also sometimes very hard to take into account all the different diverse thoughts and ideas. The next thing is equality and equity. Now, they look similar, but then the really important thing that we have to understand as educators is the idea of equity. So equality means, of course, as we see in the image to the upper right-hand corner, everybody gets the same thing. But if you already have somebody who is already advantaged, who is already, in this case, at a higher height, they're always going to be able to reach the apple. Whereas people who are shorter don't even have a chance at reaching the apple. But hey, it's all equal. Everybody gets the same. Equity means that everybody at least has a fighting chance at the beginning. So the taller person may not need a block at all or just a shorter block. The medium-sized person needs a taller block to be able to even match the height of the taller person. And the smallest person needs the most support. But in the end, they're all able to get the apple or the fruit from the tree here. And the final thing is inclusion. So inclusion, we're not just talking about exclusion or integration, where you still have the groups. They're together. They're inside the border, but you have this idea of inclusion where you're spread throughout. the area. You're spread throughout your circles so that everybody at least has a chance to be wherever they want to be in the circle, not just integration, but inclusion. Now, Sears recently in 2021 adopted this and made this more of a spectrum of justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. So in this case, in her work, she looked at justice, which is looking at equal rights and equitable opportunities. You cannot have, she argues, equity, diversity, and inclusion without having the foundational equal and equitable rights and opportunities for others. Moving into equity in policies, practices, and actions, of course, and that accounts in turn for diversity of people and perspectives. This is also very key. And I have another talk in which I talk about how I account for different purposes and perspectives and different projects that I do in my classrooms at the university. And then finally, we move into inclusion, which is, of course, via power, voice, and organizational culture. So these are the things that I keep in mind at the forefront of my classroom when I'm looking at leadership. Now, when I'm looking at leadership, and there was actually a Forbes review that came out that talked about what are the 10 attributes of a leader. And the last one was to inspire and to motivate through action. And so I thought it would be a really nice treat to be able to hear from other friends in the field how they have been able to lead through innovation. They have multiple backgrounds. They come from all around the world. And if you've been in TESOL International for a little while, you might recognize some of the faces. But I wanted to take a moment and just understand the importance that leadership is collaboration. My leadership position in the Membership Professional Council at TESOL International only comes through collaboration and understanding the different things that I do in the classroom, which again, I have multiple presentations on, are all collaborative. It's very rare that my publications and my presentations are just singular entities. So I wanted to share a couple of videos from TESOL friends in the field and how they have inspired and motivated. Then we have a chance to do a Jamboard and a debrief. I can't see all the screen. Can you all see my screen? I just saw something in the chat. All right, let me, okay, well, let me go ahead and go to my first speaker. The first speaker is Mr. George Corpus, nominating committee chair for TESOL International Association, and he's the director of teaching at Al Yamama University in Saudi Arabia and a doctoral candidate at Lancaster University in the UK. Oh, there are black boxes occasionally. Okay, I'm not sure why. All right, so please let's hear from George Corpus. Let me see if I can find the video. Here we go. All right, can we all see the video screen? Can we all see the video screen or no? Do we see the video?
I don't think so, Anastasia. We can see.
Okay,
Yes,
let me,
parts of the video.
Not yet.
okay, let me try this. Here we go. Okay, now can we see it? Here we go. All right, let's hear from George about what he says about the importance of leadership in our field.
So teachers have many roles. They prepare, they teach, they support, they help, and they lead. So that comes naturally because this happens in the class. Teachers are natural leaders because they have to lead a class. So when they lead in the class, then, you know, it's natural for them when they go for professional development to lead in the field. You know, English language teachers or English language teaching as a profession has great communities of practice, like TESOL International, like IATEFL, so many associations around the world. So when teachers, you know, visit those professional development opportunities, they have they learn how to lead. They become part of the leadership, they become part of the association, etc., etc. Now, they don't only learn those skills for themselves. As we know, teachers do not only teach English language or subject matter to the students, they also teach them life skills. So I believe that leading is a life skill, a 21st century skill that all students need. So when teachers know how to lead, then they will also teach students how to lead. And I think that is the most important element of leading in English language teaching.
Okay. All right. So what are some thoughts as you heard Mr. Corpus talk about the importance of leadership in our education? He highlighted the importance of professional organizations. And he talked about TESOL and IATEFL. Has anyone heard of TESOL or IATEFL? I know a couple of people have. And if not, there'll be time to discuss them at the end. All right. So what are some general takeaways from Mr. Corpus's advice on leadership? And I think I need to... Okay, I see yes, people have heard. That's good. All right. I'm going to share my screen now to this point. All right. My next guest is Dr. Christelle Brody. She is the Marjorie Bauer Stafford Endowed Chair in Education, professor at Georgetown College, and director in ESL Endorsement Program. She was on the TESOL National Association Board of Directors from 2018 to 2021, and she is an English language specialist for the U.S. Department of State. I like Dr. Brody's approach because she discusses the importance of leadership in the community. So let's listen to see how Dr. Brody discusses how she's been able to use her role in leadership in her community, which of course extends to the classroom and extends through the field. Here is Dr. Brody. Can you all see the video? I think you can, because it's on my same application. Okay, here we go. Oh, give me a second. Try it again. There we go.
Everybody, thank you for having me today, and I'm so happy to say a few sentences about research activities. If we are lucky and we work in a context where we have a choice of what research we're doing, I think it is the most wonderful approach to do any research that feeds directly into our teaching and expertise about the topic that we're teaching about. Or even better, that we ask our students to join us in the research activities and work side by side with them. I'm a person that is that lucky, so I can pick my research activities that are making a difference in my state, in my region, in my schools where around me where I work. But I wanted to particularly highlight one other area. For many years, I've been teaching teachers of immigrants that come to the United States with languages other than English, learning English here. And I'm very invested in our immigrant communities here. And I'm an immigrant myself from Germany. So with other immigrants, we worked very, very hard for the last 10 years to open a center in our city to serve immigrant needs, have immigrant meetings, art exhibits, and so forth. We finally got a physical space from the city, and there are a lot of events taking place, drivers training, training for parents, how to use schooling in the US. A lot of things were even help for abused women, a lot of services, health services that help immigrants. One of the other things we do is help highly educated immigrants or refugees that come here to enter professions that they need licensure for, like being a physician or lawyer or so forth. We also have a commission that was founded for the mayor, and we're advising the mayor in all things international, whether they're on the high level industries, working with other countries and creating better or more vital business relationships with other countries, or on very low level, how to make our parks and our city more welcoming to different immigrant groups. So that is per se not a direct research activity, but it's service, which is also connected to research. And I feel very lucky to have been able to merge all of these things together: service, research, teaching. So all my professional activities have one purpose. Thank you for inviting me, and I hope you have a great meeting.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about Dr. Brody's approach when she discusses leadership. What is her contribution? And she does many different research activities. She was just mentioning one, but she talks about the importance of being active in community, and more particular, the immigrant community. She's in Kentucky as well. So are there any insights, any thoughts that you would like to share after listening to Dr. Brody's discussion and contribution? We'll have a chance to talk about them all at once as well. All right, I have two more guests. My next guest is Gracie Maria Mendoza. She is from Honduras. She's the founder of Help to TESOL and the past president of LAC TESOL. She is currently an education specialist at USG for USAID in Honduras. And she was on the TESOL International Association Board of Directors from 2019 to 2022. So let us see what her thoughts are on innovative leadership in her area. Here we go.
Hello, my name is Gracia Maria and I am from Honduras. Today I want to talk to you about good leadership and why it is important for our field. Well, I can say that it is important for many reasons, but I would like to mention three in particular. First, it allows us to make important contributions to the field, not only from the classroom perspective as teachers who are leaders and leading their students, but in all realms of the field or in several realms of the field that include research, professional development, and of course management, administration of education. Next, our field is one about the people and the human connection. Hence, the promotion of leaders allows us to gain insights on the varied and diverse perspectives of people in the field and give us those elements, those tools, those techniques, those strategies to better support our colleagues, to better support our networks, and allow everybody to thrive and grow, to communicate and engage. Finally, because it matters worldwide, with everything that is happening around us, conflictive situations in the different countries, context of low income, racial injustice. A positive leader, a good leader who can bring the best in those around them is key to ensuring a thriving ELT community, where our end goal of leading our students to develop their competencies, to develop their skills can be met, and allows us to bring our peers and our colleagues together to contribute and collaborate to the growth of everybody around them. So, what will you do today to be a good leader in ELT?
All right, and this was Gracia Maria Mendoza. And she really focused a lot on the importance of our field is one about the people. So how we collaborate, how we connect, how we think. She also hits a little bit more on those 21st century skills that are so important for us in our field. And my final example is Dr. Lin Fung. She's an ESL program director at Chatham University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. She's the founder and director of EduLink International Academy, and she's the incoming chair of the Affiliate Network Professional Council for TESOL International Association. And this is Lin, and this is her contribution as a leader in the field.
Hello, my name is Dr. Lin Fung. I have been teaching English in different educational settings for almost 20 years now. Currently, I serve as the director of an intensive English program in the US. I'm also the founder and director of EduLink International Academy, which offers online English services to students from any location. Professionally, I also serve as the incoming chair of the Affiliate Network Professional Council of TESOL International. I have the opportunity to work with leaders from all over the world. So what is leadership and what motivates me as a leader? In a recent reflection, I wrote, leadership is the ability to influence others and outcomes to create more opportunities for myself and others to rise. I have to say that I'm pretty outcome-oriented, result-oriented, and challenge-oriented. What it means is that whenever there's a challenge or a problem to solve, I really push forward and take different actions in order to achieve it. And I can also say that I have this just do it attitude. However, it doesn't mean that I don't work with others. I work with other people, I support others, I collaborate, I work with the team in order to bring ideas into fusion. One example of a project that was really exciting to me was actually this children's book here. I just published a children's book in English and Vietnamese called Tuck of Words. I also have the English only version here, and I'm very excited to share it with families from all over the world. Another project that I have been working on is to develop a task-based app which connects learners to practice speaking in pairs, and I'm about to launch it soon. The name of the app is EduLink Speak. So I want to share these projects with you and also encourage you to pursue ideas and work with others to achieve your goals and your dreams. Thank you for listening.
I thought that was from the video, but maybe it's not. I think there's somebody who is not muted. Oh.
I believe you need to turn everybody's microphone on, off, because I see Maria Eras that keeps, that banging keeps coming from her microphone.
Thank you for that. I thought that the feedback was coming from the video, but it seemed to be coming from somebody who had their microphone on. So apologies for that. I also have the videos, which I'm happy to share individually if you want to go back and look at them again. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Dr. Fung's contribution. So she talks a lot about how in her leadership role, she has been able to innovate and collaborate and work with so many people. And she exemplifies this by discussing, there we go. She exemplifies this by discussing her app and also the children's book that she created with her children. So how can we be innovative? So we're going to be going to the Jamboard, but first I want to go ahead and close with a couple of remarks from Dr. Deborah Suarez, who's a professor and trainer, and she was on the board of directors for TESOL from 2019 to 2022. And she sums up and says, leadership should result in something. Even the smallest contribution can have an impact. So we're going to have a chance to break out and really create and talk about our innovative ways in a little bit. We don't have to be conferred as a leader. We can actually start right now, and we can encourage others to lead from where they sit. And so a lot of the different speakers, Mr. Corpus talked about the importance of leadership and understanding, if when we can lead, we can teach our students to lead. Maria discussed the importance of having strong leaders in the field to be able to continue the established growth of the ELT field. Dr. Fung discussed how collaboration can lead to things like children's books and also the creation of a new app, depending on that. And of course, Dr. Brody discussed the importance of reaching out in the community and continuing to make our field stronger as we are such a global field. So I want to take a few minutes now and let's work on a Jamboard. So you can find the link. Let me see if I can put the link here. Here we go. I'm going to put the link in the chat. And we're going to spend a little bit of time discussing how we can innovate, or how you've been able to innovate in our field, in the community. The link is here. It should be open to all of you. And if you've not used a Jamboard before, you simply use a little adhesive. You go and you add. Oh, good. I see people are already being added. That's great. So how can we innovate in our field, in our classroom, in our community? How have you been able to do that? Let's have a little discussion as we wrap up the importance of innovative leadership. And if you've not used Jamboards before, the easiest way is to get a little adhesive note and click on it, write on it, and then you can submit it, and it pops up on the screen right here. So let's take a few minutes, write down your thoughts, how you can innovate in your classroom, in your field. And if you have any issues using the Jamboard, you can put what you have in the chat, and I'd be happy to make a little adhesive note on our Jamboard so that we can have a collection of our ideas together. Sonia, do you see the link?
No, we can see the link.
Okay. Are you saying you don't know how to? Do you all see my screen that has the Jamboard? Okay. Good. I see our first contribution. We can use TICs. Can you tell us a little more about that? Anyone else have any?
Excuse me, doctor.
Yes.
How you doing? Good morning.
Good morning.
I cannot write right now because, as you can see, I'm driving. But I do agree with the lady, the one that is from Central America. I cannot remember the country that she's in. And I do agree with her. Okay, thank you. I do agree with her, especially because, when she mentioned about, having empathy, really, I think that's what I inferred. Having empathy towards the students, and also when she mentions about all this racism and all these other factors that we face, because it's true, it does affect even leadership.
Yes.
All these other factors that, that surround us as, as our community, or even our English community, because, a lot of people, sometimes they get, ashamed speaking and practicing English in public, especially if you are in a Latin American country. I tell my students, I got nothing but seniors at this high school that I work at, and I give them research in science and technology. And I tell them, I say, listen, if you don't want to speak in English, well, if I see you at the mall or anywhere in the streets, you better run, because I'm not going to talk to you in Spanish. You know what I mean? And that's the way, it will help them, get rid of that fear that they have in expressing themselves. And some of them are C1s already, at the level that I'm teaching, because most of these guys, they have been students and they haven't having English ever since they were in kindergarten. But they still feel ashamed of talking or speaking in public, and sometimes it's because of that. While other people might think discrimination and other factors. And that's what I wanted to put, but like I told you, I'm driving right now, and thanks for hearing me out.
Thank you so much, Mario. And honestly, when I join webinars, usually I'm also driving. I drive my kids places, and I do the same thing. So thank you so much. And I actually added your contribution, having empathy, confronting racism. I added it to the Jamboard as well. I also want to mention TESOL has a non-native English speakers interest section that addresses the issues that you're talking about. It's definitely very hard. It's even harder when you see sometimes it's getting better, but when you start seeing applications that say native English speakers only, because it basically discounts anybody who actually has, in some cases, a lot more grammatical training than a native speaker does. So it's very hard to confront that. Absolutely.
Yes, I consider that discrimination too. Yes, I consider that discrimination too. You know why? Just because you're native, what about the ones that are non-natives?
Right.
How can they participate?
I agree.
Do we need your divine permission? And I'm a TSU member myself here in Ecuador, and I didn't know there was a part like that. I got to talk to my supervisor about that, because thanks for letting me know. I'm going to check into that.
Absolutely. And you can also contact me through LinkedIn and also Instagram, and we can continue the conversation. I'll give you the resources that you need to get plugged in to get more involved and talk about this in TESOL. The more we talk about these issues, the more that everyone is going to have to pay attention to it. So thank you so much for bringing that up.
Thank you. And thank Mr. Andres Rodriguez for having you here.
Thank you so much.
Doing his best.
Let's see. I'm gonna look at the Jamboard. We have to change mind and look for new dynamic strategies. Making projects with students according to their needs. Yeah, I'm talking about disability, ability. Absolutely. We need to be happy in this way. Activities for participants. I saw another one, but I think there it is. Teach games with children. Absolutely. Gamification is huge, especially now that, we've been remote versus hybrid versus back in the classroom again. And there's been interesting studies coming out that says, well, we love gamification, but we also have to keep those language acquisition processes in mind, those techniques in mind. We have to understand and know that gamification leads to acquisition, how much input, how much output, what kinds of acquisition is actually being addressed versus they can fill in the blank, they can do this thing on a game. Understanding the tenets of second language acquisition in addition to this gamification that we found ourselves in. These are great. I don't know how much time I have left. I think we started around 1:05, Mr. Andres, Dr. Andres?
Yes, Anastasia, yeah.
How much time do we have left? So I have an idea.
No, well, we are in the last part of the webinar, but if you still run, if you still have something, you can speak, yeah?
Okay, perfect. I will wrap up in the next couple of minutes. All right, so I want to return back to our word cloud that we did, all different ways of innovative leadership. And I want to take a little bit of time to kind of debrief and look at now, after we've had this conversation, after you've seen the inspiration of all sorts of different TESOL colleagues, I want you to go back to Mentimeter. I'm going to put it in the chat, menti.com, and use the code 8364 8473 and just address what your takeaways are. This can either be what you think innovation is now, if it's changed, if it hasn't changed, what are different contributions maybe you've thought of that maybe you didn't think of before. Maybe you had an idea that now you really want to kind of push towards. So what are your general takeaways? And I'll give you just a couple of seconds to do that. Do you all see my screen, by the way? Okay, perfect. All right. And again, I know people are driving, so if you just want to tell me, then I can also put in the Mentimeter for you. What are your takeaways? And again, if you want to unmute yourselves, I can also put it in the Mentimeter. No, not after. Now wait. Give me 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes.
No. I won't give you 5 minutes.
How many? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many is that?
5.
Thank you. Go.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. I'll put inside.
Or if anybody wants to contribute to the chat, or if you want to unmute yourselves as well, that's fine. You start to hear my 7-year-old in the background.
I'm trying to open this. That was mommy.
Anybody have any takeaways?
That's not okay.
No. Well, I'm going to leave this open if anyone wants to put any takeaways there. If you think of something later, that would be great. Please let me know. All right. So I don't want to take up too much more of anyone's time, but I do want to go ahead and close with another Rita Mae Brown quote. She says, language is the roadmap of a culture. It tells you where its people come from and where they are going. And so as language teachers in the field, it's so important that, and I think that, not now, that we've been able to, sorry, my 7-year-old, that we've been able to understand that we have such a global reach, and it's so important and so impactful to be able to work together, to collaborate, and to understand through our discussions today, through our guest speakers via video, that we have such an important job to do in our field. And now more than ever, it's important to just get up there and lead and innovate so we can all make a difference in our world. Because, oh, thank you. I see everybody understands. Same in my house. Yes, but you're probably muted, unlike me. So it's more apparent. So there we have it there. All right. So if you have any questions, my Instagram is here. I also have the QR code for my LinkedIn. So please use the QR code. Join me on LinkedIn. Let's continue these conversations. And it is a pleasure to be in community with all of you as members of the field, as well as I need to take a moment to say Happy Easter. Happy Passover, Ramadan Kareem, and whatever holidays we're celebrating around the world. What a special time during this weekend to be celebrating so many holidays together. So thank you so much. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to stick around. Thank you, Dr. Andres, for having me today.
Thank you so much, Anastasia, for your presentation. I think that, well, everything was clear, but teachers, do you have any question? You have any inquiry, please, you can let us know. You can raise your hand, or you can write something in the chat box. So let me read you first, Anastasia. Well, I'm going to read some comments. Okay. Well, Sonia. Yeah, it's the same lady in the house. No, she was referring to. Okay, teacher, you have any questions? Thank you so much, Mario. For Benjamin is. I don't have holidays.
I'm very impressed. Very impressed with your presentation.
Yeah.
I'm at the mall right now. I'm at the mall right now. I'm about to go and buy my Easter clothes for tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. Um, yeah, there's Alexis. Well, I think we're gonna share now the slides. Okay, I think that yeah about it. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Jacqueline. Okay, Eduardo. Thank you. Yeah, they are congratulating you and Anastasia. Well, I think the same. I think the same. No, so it was good because I was sure that we were going to learn from your presentation. No, so the link you shared with us, Anastasia, at the beginning of the presentation, it was about how to TESOL. No, it was about TESOL. No.
Yes, yes. I had a couple links I shared. I will reshare them because I think we have more people here. I wanted to share just a little bit about so we have links for the TESOL membership, and also I know that Mario and a couple others said that they know TESOL, but it's really important to try to get involved in different communities of practice. So we have different intersections, professional learning networks, and really through there you can really find your niche. I come from the social responsibility intersection where I was past co-chair before I got into the professional membership council, which I now chair. So it's just a really great way to grow your leadership skills, to really collaborate with people who are like-minded individuals. And as you can see, there are so many to choose from that are here. There are different webinars, different publication opportunities. I mean, this is really where you can connect with people. And again, like everybody who was able to share their leadership ideas and skills, they're all from TESOL. They're everybody who I met from TESOL. So there it is. Do you use email? Oh, yes. I didn't put my email, but here's my email. I'm putting it in the chat as well. Here it is. But the easiest way, of course, is to get me through LinkedIn. I don't like email these days. I will check it, but I get so many emails, things get lost. So please search for me on Instagram as well as LinkedIn. That's the best way to get me and to communicate with me. And I look forward to continuing to collaborate and innovate. What a special field that we have from people from all over the world.
Thank you so much, Anastasia, for the information you shared. So this is the main page, this was the main page. So we start reading about all the things that we have to do in case we have to apply it for any membership or if we want to serve, as a volunteer. All the information is there, no?
Yes, and also we do have a lot of different webinars. The Membership Professional Council is going to have a couple webinars on how to use your TESOL membership, so please keep an eye out for that. The other thing too, if you're not a member of TESOL, I can just go ahead and quickly show you the My TESOL Lounge. My TESOL Lounge is for anybody, even if you're not a member, but at least it starts to get you connected. I'm going to see if I'm signed in, but let me see if this link will work for you. This is a good way to start connecting to people, and then you can get guided into membership. People from my council look at the My TESOL Lounge all the time, and we're very responsive to the different messages that we have here. So if you have questions on membership, getting plugged in, put them here, and one of us will be able to help you to get plugged in, because we need members like you to be able to serve and to innovate and to collaborate.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that, yeah, we needed that information to know more about TESOL now. So this is your My TESOL ELT We're Connected, no?
Yes, I put the link in the chat if you need it, but that's if you're not a TESOL member yet, this is where everybody needs to post for free. And if you are a TESOL member, then you can get plugged into intersections and webinars and things like that. So there you go. That's it. And if you have any questions, you want to continue the conversation, I'm happy to help you. Please let me know. Please reach out. And I'm looking in the chat. I don't see any questions in the chat. The links are here. And yes, I'm happy to share my slides with you. I'll download them. I have them in a Google Drive, so I'll just download them as a PowerPoint so that you can have them. And then you can share them. You can distribute them. Dr. Andres, if that's what you like to do.
For me, it's a pleasure. For me, it's a pleasure. Essentially, we can share the links and all the information we have already shared with you in this presentation, teachers. Oh, well, I think that we have learned a lot, okay, in this presentation. So it could be great, Dr. Anastasia. It was grateful to see you in this morning. I hope you, in the future, you can accept another invitation to share another topic or different things that you can share with us. No, it was more than a pleasure in this time. So here, okay, we're in Holy Week in Ecuador, and in some countries we're celebrating. We're in holiday, so I think that some other teachers they couldn't attend, but we are going to record this presentation, and I'm going to be available for all the teachers, no, especially in the WhatsApp groups or in the Facebook, so you can follow us, no?
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of your day and restful holiday weekend.
Thank you so much, everybody, for being part of this presentation. I send my greetings for all partners from around the world, and in Ecuador, from my friends, and in Peru, Bolivia. We are still on holidays, I think, now. So before we finish, I would like to stop you for a moment because we have the last picture, please. Could you turn on your cameras, please, teachers, for a moment? Yeah. Yes, please. Okay. I would like to send a picture to say hello, everybody. Okay, Belisario. Nice
Hello,
to see
how are you?
Okay. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, great. I send my greetings. Thanks for coming. Okay. Have a nice weekend. Bye, Anastasia. Thanks for coming. Have a great week. No, we keep in touch, everybody.
Bye. Great.
Thank you.
See you next time. See you.
Bye, bye, everybody. We see you next time. Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye, bye.